Hello and warm welcome to TBC News. Top stories tonight. Tanzania and German set to strengthen ties as German president arrives. Tanzania improved its ranking in aviation safety. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm Agnes Tuniga. You can also follow us live our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. President of the Federal Republic of Germany, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, has arrived in the country for a 3-day working visit and was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, January Mamba, at the Julius Nyerere International Airport in Dar es Salaam. His visit aims to strengthen bilateral ties, cooperation between the two countries in the fields of technology, health, sustainable use of water resources, environmental protection, good governance, gender equality, finance, and sports. Tomorrow, President Steinmeier will hold talk with President Samia Suluhu Hassan and both to hold a joint press conference and meeting to involve business communities of both countries. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says Tanzania ranks 4th in Africa in aviation safety scoring of 86.7, preceded only by Nigeria, Kenya, and Ivory Coast following aviation safety study conducted in May 2023. The Prime Minister made the announcement while opening on an event to mark the 20th anniversary of Tanzania Civil Aviation Authority, TCAA, in Dar es Salaam. Here are more details.
The Prime Minister, who is here to represent President Samia Suluhu Hassan, says that Tanzania has developed its aviation safety in the country to international standards.
Tangu kuanzishwa kwa mamlaka hii ya usafiri wa anga mwaka 2003.
Since the establishment of the authority, we have received a lot of success, of which the success of this institution is based on its performance, but also the management, implementation, its vision, and the responsibility it has.
He furthermore adds that the sector has multiplied its contribution to the national GDP to 8.2% of the national GDP for the year 2022.
Ni ongezeko la mchango wa sekta uchukuzi katika pato la taifa.
There is an increase in the contribution of the transport sector to the national income. The sector has contributed 8.2% to the national income in the year 2022.
Earlier inviting the Prime Minister, the Minister of Transport, Professor Makame Mbarawa, says he believes that if another study will be conducted, now Tanzania will score of more than 90.
In the process of improving aircraft services, the government has improved various infrastructures in the airport, where we have set up new modern radar in the Julius Nyerere International Airport, Kilimanjaro International Airport, Mwanza, and Songo airports.
The Minister of Transport, Professor Makame Mbarawa, insists the government continues with the installation of aircraft guidance systems at the Pemba, Kia, Mwanza, Songwe, and Arusha airports.
The Speaker of the Tanzania National Assembly and the newly elected President of the Interparliamentary Union, Dr. Tulia Ackson, says her victory represents victory of the whole country, insisting unity and integration in matters of national interest. She made remarks upon her arrival to Tanzania after being elected as the 31st President of the IPU during the 147th IPU Assembly in Luanda, Angola. Kanki Mole has prepared the following report.
The Speaker of the National Assembly and the newly elected 31st President of the Interparliamentary Union, Dr. Tulia Ackson, has today thanked the Tanzanian President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, for her contribution before and after the race for the title. Dr. Tulia Ackson, who takes over from Duarte Pacheco from Portugal, insists winning the use election was not easy.
Nafasi kama hizi,
positions like these are to safeguard them, even if you do it negligently or by being sent by someone to do so or by saying that this speaker is from the same party. So if someone not happy with this title coming to Tanzania, where did you want it to go? Or which country? And how will you have benefited from it? Every country has its foundation, and that foundation must be respected. We should not reach a point of selling our nation to other people through hate speech. Let's not get to the point where we despise our nation, which we have built with peace and harmony for many years.
She urges Tanzanians not to spread hate speech, but rather use this opportunity to show our abilities, insisting prior preparation and planning to be key. The Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has congratulated Dr. Tulia Ackson on behalf of the Tanzanian President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the Revolutionary Council of Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, and the Vice President, Dr. Philip Mpango.
The government has been urged to explore ways to increase the number of professional botanists following the need on the area and the endowment of the resources that the country is blessed with. The call has been made by Christopher Kilanga Rufo, who is a professional botanist working with Tanzania Tree Seed Agency, who today has been awarded Japanese Foreign Minister Commendation Award. Nasa Kingu was there and has prepared the following report.
Yes, so he's my, just like my teacher.
My name is Christopher Rufo. I, as a researcher involved with Tanzania for nearly 30 years, I'm excited and delighted to hear that you are awarded the Japanese Foreign Ministry's commendation.
Not every day you hear top academicians get really emotional for an individual's award to recognize his or her work. Born in rural areas of Tabora 88 years ago, finally Christopher Kilanga Rufo is today recognized for his excellent work in botany. He thanks the Japanese government for the recognition, and he calls for deserved recognition on the profession.
I'm calling upon young people to study more about plants in Tanzania and their different uses so that we can make a development by using these good natural resources. This can produce industries to make different products such as medicine and food.
Earlier, Japanese ambassador to Tanzania, Yasushi Misawa, elaborated what the award is all about and why Christopher Kilanga Rufo deserves to win one of the highest Japanese awards.
This award was established in the 1980s, and since then, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan is so presenting the award to those people who make a great contribution to strengthening and promoting the bilateral relationship between Japan and other countries. And this year we also awarded two Tanzanians. One is Mr. Rufo, who is a specialist in the botanic areas, who supported many Japanese specialists in identifying sort of species of plants.
Tanzania being endowed with a wide variety of plants, discovering, nurturing, and sustaining professionals on the area of botany becomes a must rather than a choice. From Dar es Salaam, Nasa Kingu, TBC News.
The Minister of Information Communications and Information Technology, Napen Nnauye, says the government, through his ministry in collaboration with the other stakeholders, is determined to formulate a startup policy to help innovators to benefit from their creativity and get a platform to exhibit their skills. Emmanuel Samuel reports.
He made the assurance in Dar es Salaam during a special meeting involving local and foreign investors, insisting the completion of the policy will stipulate rules and regulations and establish a comprehensive framework that fosters conducive environment for the growth and the expression of startups.
Dear friends, this digital era, youth in Tanzania are at the forefront of creating innovative products and services that address pressing social, economic, and environmental issues. It's important to recognize that the startup sector plays a crucial role in employment, as it has been said, and job creation. We'll work towards a brighter and more prosperous future, not only for our youth, but for our country as well.
On the other hand, the Director General of Tanzania Startups Association, TSA, Zahor Muhaj, says the cooperation between the government and TSA in startups policy creation will support employment creation, while the TSA board member Jumanne Tambalike calls on young entrepreneurs and stakeholders to capitalize on the provision.
We are very happy and we welcome the commitment from the government to create the startup policy. As we already know, startups contribute so much jobs in the country, but also contribute a lot in terms of foreign direct investment which comes into the country. The data which the Honorable Minister shared was last year alone, almost $8 million come into Tanzania as investment into startups.
For us to be successful, there is no way we can leave the startup behind. You talk about the emerging technologies, and these technologies, they do affect agriculture sector, mining sector. Every sector is being affected into this.
More than 200 million is expected to be collected every year from the creative businesses inside and outside the country and contribute to the national income. Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
The Deputy Governor of Bank of Tanzania for Financial Stability and Deepening, Sauda Kasim Semo, says lack of sufficient technical skills to support agricultural product design, transaction, structuring and portfolio risk management for agricultural finance is a barrier to increased financing interventions in the agricultural sector. She made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the official launch of the Agri-Finance Training Program, which aims to focus on preparing individuals with the prerequisite competencies required for improving the agricultural sector through agricultural finance. Rehema Sebabili has more.
It's an official launch of the Agricultural Finance Professional Certification Program, which intends to enhance competence to professionals and to improve financing linkages between agri-value chain actors, financing institutions and other stakeholders in the industry. Deputy Governor of the Bank of Tanzania for Financial Stability and Deepening, Sauda Kasim Semo, says the capacity building of banking professionals to structure, screen, appraise and manage finance transactions, as well as building an understanding of the technical, financial, commercial, policy and regulatory aspects of the agriculture sector, has been identified as the key area for intervention.
To achieve this milestone, various policy measures have been implemented by the government. Specifically, on the part of the Bank of Tanzania, the bank introduced special loan facility of 1 trillion shillings to be extended to banks at the annual rate of 3% for onward lending to agriculture sector at annual rate not exceeding 10%, and reduction of statutory minimum reserve requirements equivalent to amount of loans granted to agriculture sector at the annual rate not exceeding 10%.
On the other hand, the Managing Director of Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank, TADB, Frankie Nyabundege, says the program will enhance the technical capacity of banking professionals to understand and assess the opportunities and risks for lending to the agricultural sector, with the view to support the growth of credit and investments in agriculture for smallholder farmers and agri-SMEs.
Among the noted challenges for the low credit rate, for low credit flow, are inherent risks associated with the sector, lack of sufficient technical skills on product design, transaction structuring, and risk management for agricultural financing. All these act as a barrier to increase financial intervention in the agricultural sector. I wish to inform you, Deputy Governor, that TDB is addressing the component of inherent risk through its smallholder credit guarantee scheme, SGS, product, which is de-risking mechanism to banks and financial institutions to lend to agriculture.
Currently, the agricultural sector is contributing 26% of the GDP and 65% of employment. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rohemas Babili, TBC News.
The Director General of the Cashew Nut Board of Tanzania, CBT, Francis Alfred, says the board aims to ensure by the year 2030 the country sells approximately 300,000 tons of processed cashews to various international markets, including the Europe, America, Russia, and the Middle East, compared to 14,000 tons that have already been processed. He was in Dar es Salaam addressing journalists on the current price of the raw cashews, which vary from 1,900 to 2,190 shillings, an increase that targets to benefit the cashew farmers. Alfred adds that the country is currently implementing the Mananje Industrial Project that will have more than 100 cashew mills as a strategy to increase the sale cashew nuts abroad.
Although we know, but currently we are processing less than around 10 to 20% of the processing of the cashew. But now we are establishing what we call industrial park in Mtwara, a place called Maranje, where we'll be processing more than 300,000 tons per annum. That's our plan. And we are talking now. We've already today we are starting land clearing in that Maranje park in Mtwara. So our target is a country. In order to get rid of these challenges of selling raw cashew, we are planning to process cashew.
The Vice-Chancellor of Ardhi University, Professor Evaristo Liwa, urged researchers to increase community-based researches as part of coming up with better solutions to climate change challenges in agriculture. Professor Liwa made the call during the opening of the Climate Adaptation Research Program, CAP, workshop, which focuses on visioning a community in Dar es Salaam earlier today. Professor Evaristo Liwa continues.
Benefits have been many so far, especially in agriculture. It goes to knowing the kind of seeds you need to grow, the type of seeds you need to grow, the time you need to start cultivation, and many other things, including processing the food. Most of the participants are young researchers, which means students. For example, I know all of them, most of these are master's students, so that they can utilize this knowledge. Call upon all universities to engage into research, not necessarily on climate change. There are so many things that need to be researched on.
On the other hand, Professor Tim Finan from the University of Arizona says the research program will bring positive results to Tanzania.
Like Tanzania, there are multiple problems related to climate change. In the rural areas, it's the desiccation of land, the deterioration of pasture lands for herders. In Dar es Salaam, there are problems with flooding and problems with local infrastructure. So the research that is funded here in Tanzania is research by researchers here at Ardhi University who are focused on these kinds of problems. And so the results of their research is not necessarily only for publication in a professional journal. That's not the overall goal, but to provide a pathway for adapting to these climate change impacts, such as flooding.
The Climate Adaptation Research Program, CAP, is attended by 70 participants from different countries, including South Africa, USA, Senegal, Nigeria, Algeria, Kenya, Ghana, Uganda, Ethiopia, Madagascar, and Tanzania, expected to end on 2nd November 2023. The UNESCO Country Director in Tanzania, Michael Toto, says United Nations, together with other stakeholders, is committed to support and empower youth in Tanzania. Toto made the assurance during the Aga Khan Education Services, and which is part of continuation of the United Nations Day in Dar es Salaam, insisting stakeholders to create conducive environment that allows innovation, entrepreneurship, and meaningful engagement of young people in the decision-making process.
The event showed the importance of education. Parents need to allow their children to go to school. They need to encourage people to go to school. That's what UN is doing, and that's why Mr. Zlatan, that's why he requests me to be here today to insist on the education for young people.
Sustainable development goals for education are crucial to the development of all developing countries, and I was really impressed with today's event in terms of the great job that all the students did. It was really impressive. I enjoyed when they did all the different languages. That was really nice. And of course the song was very inspirational.
We are putting forward our students with their knowledge and their practices for a more equitable and a more peaceful world that is a greener planet for everybody to live together. This is an annual event at the Aga Khan Education Service, Tanzania, and with us we have had multiple visitors, multiple embassies blessing the occasion and making commitments that our students, who are the leaders of today, will lead generations to come into a world that is a better place.
On the other hand, some of the students participating in the event say the event reminds them of the world filled with diversity of opportunities.
So the UN Day is about celebrating our diversity. There's a lot of us in the school, and we have these small differences between us. It could be religion, it could be skin color, it could be who's our favorite football player, but these small differences should be something that unites us, not something that divides us, not something that we go to war for.
The importance of this day is to show unity amongst us and to educate everyone about unity, equality. Today we have invited delegates from all around the world to come celebrate along with us, and we hope to reach this message of unity and equality around the globe.
So UN Day is actually an important occasion, and I advise most schools to have it, because we advocate for themes such as inclusivity, justice, and global cooperation. As our world becomes a global village, we need to work together, as not only as Tanzanians, but as global citizens, to help improve our lives. Now it's the time for us students to help the world improve different aspects.
This event takes place every year as part of cooperation with the United Nations to ensure that the world becomes a safer place for all, regardless of their differences. Before we wind up the local news tonight, let us now have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Do not miss TBC News every day to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in international news. Welcome back, and here is international news as compiled by Dorothy Murray and read by Faida Ngaga.
Sudan's army says it has detained children who were forced to fight alongside the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, in the ongoing conflict. Reports say the unspecified number of children are held in northern Khartoum. The RSF has been repeatedly accused of violating international laws by recruiting minors in the ongoing conflict in Sudan. Fighting continues between the army and the RSF in Khartoum and Kordofan regions amid reports that renewed talks in Saudi Arabia are focusing on reaching a ceasefire and humanitarian support. Pupils are happy when they see the food from education food truck arriving at their school in Kenya. The vehicle is operated by Food for Education, a Kenyan non-profit. It is part of the largest initiative of this kind in the country, providing 4 million primary school children a meal per day. Founded in 2012, the organization aims to boost school attendance by providing meals which parents could not afford otherwise. The organization cooks and delivers meals to schools countrywide. Another development, King Charles and his wife Queen Camilla of the United Kingdom start a 4-day visit to Kenya tomorrow. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has met with Nigerian President Bola Tinubu in Abuja, Nigeria, to discuss trade and investment opportunities during a West Africa tour as the European country looks to diversify its trade partners and expand economic partnerships in the energy-rich region. In his trip to Africa since he took office in 2021, Scholz pushed for further development of Nigeria's capacity to meet local needs, even as Germany seeks improved trade relations with its second largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. Major aspects of the two countries' cooperation include working with Nigeria to help tackle regional and global issues such as migration, security, and coups in West and Central Africa. At least 13 people have died and about 50 are injured after two passenger trains collided in India's South Andhra Pradesh state on Sunday. A rescue operation was launched and hundreds of emergency workers were at the site to clear the wreckage. Officials say a preliminary investigation has found that a human error had led to the collision. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his condolences and says he was in touch with the railway minister.
That was international news. Sports news follows shortly. And in sports news, the KMC coach Abdul Ahad Moalin says his opponents Mtibwa Sugars win their previous game makes tomorrow's game more difficult for them. Moalin believes through his team's winning consistency in this season, being at home stadium is enough to him and his players to give morale and display a good performance, while Mtibwa Sugar head coach Zuberi Katwila says he has prepared his team to win the game.
It's going to be a difficult game. We're going to be tested a lot. They're not going to come to Uhuru and expect to lose. They're going to come for the win like we are, and we have to match that energy. We have to be focused, we have to compete, and we have to take the 3 points.
Last match give us extreme morale to give the best performance without any worry, as we lost a lot of games because of worry. So we believe to win this game.
Mtibwa Sugar just won its first league game against Gator Gold, and they will face KMC tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Uhuru Stadium in Dar es Salaam. That is sports news, and now before we conclude our news bulletin for tonight, let me end here and say good night to you, and please don't miss our news bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I'm Agnes Tuniga, and thank you very much for watching. Good night.
Wekeza Tanzania. Wiki hii tunakuletea fursa za uwekezaji zilizopo ndani ya hifadhi ya taifa ya Tarangire.
Fursa kubwa ambayo ipo ni ya uwekezaji kwenye upande wa malazi.
Mazingira ya uwekezaji ni mazuri. Tulikotoka na tunakoelekea. Na mama pia
Samia Suluhu Hassan
anaweza kutangaza hii biashara. Baada ya filamu tumepokea